Guys, we are all here because we are campaigning against something called CSE. But the government here are referring it to as RSE. CSE is Comprehensive Sexuality Education. RSE is Relationships and Sexuality Education. Comprehensive Sexuality Education is a global sex education. It comes from America. For us, the documents come from the World Health Organization and UNESCO. Who writes for UNESCO? A place called CCAS. CCAS was set up years ago off the back of another institute called the Kinsey Institute. And this is where all of our education comes from. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a background now of how we got to where we are, okay? I'll start with how I found this out. So I came across this sex education in 2013, this year. The World Health Organization Standards for Sexuality Education in Europe. How did I discover this? There was an article online, and this article said that they're teaching 4-year-olds about masturbation in school. I'm a criminologist. I specialise in child sex abuse, exploitation, harmful sexual behaviour, perpetrators of abuse, models of offending, bias disclosure, all the dark stuff that nobody likes to talk about. I study in depth, and I study it in depth. I desensitise myself to it because I care and I want change. So that's why I got down that road. But I discovered this document here, the World Health Organization document. And in this document, it was really strange for me because obviously you trust the World Health Organization, yeah? You trust these global institutes, you know? Well, no, you don't, but I did back then, right? So when I opened this document, I was looking through it and it was talking about things like sexual rights and how sexuality education should begin from birth. Well, if that wasn't enough, I got to the matrix. And then the matrix section, very easy to read, guys, from page 38. We've got the document here if you want to read it yourselves. We've got the matrix, and what the matrix is a table. And it displays something like this. You've got the subsections on the side, you've got the information fed into the child, the skills the child will acquire, and the attitudes the child develops from that information. So we had 0 to 4, early childhood masturbation. Know what feels good. Listen to your body. Say yes and no. Then age 4 to 6, we got enjoyment and pleasure when touching one's own body. Appropriate sexual language. Talk about sexual matters. Consolidate their gender identity. Use sexual language in a non-offensive way. That's age 4 to 6. As it gets older, it gets worse. It doesn't matter which document you look at, by the time we get to age 9, we are talking about intercourse, okay? So this is the kind of thing we're dealing with here. Obviously, like I said, I was a bit naive, thinking what's going on here? Who is saying these stuff about children? How are they saying we are sexual from birth? If we were sexual from birth, we would be pulling the toddlers off each other, yeah? Natural. Like I got 2 dogs in the house. I got a small poodle, a big poodle. The small poodle is sexual. He's on the big poodle, you know? So I don't experience that with toddlers. So how are we sexual from birth? Well, like I said, it comes from the Kinsey Institute. What I'm going to talk about now is really sad, okay? Because this is the raw data they acquired for these seedy documents. They actually abused children. Children as young as 2 and 4 months old. The raw data for our sex education is in this book, chapter 5. You can all read it. This is the human behaviour and the sexual male. This is pretty much how we got to where we are. A man called Alfred Kinsey was originally a zoologist, an amazing scientist, really good at what he did. Then he became a sexologist. He was obsessed with sexual behaviour of the human. But he wasn't just obsessed with sexual behaviour of the human, he was obsessed with sexual behaviour of sex offenders and paedophiles. So when Kinsey wrote this book, he told everyone in America, this is the male population. He lied, okay? He used sex offenders and paedophiles to acquire this information. So, if you look at chapter 5, if you're brave enough, you will see the tables, the stuff they did to children, the information they acquired, how they came to the conclusion that we are sexual from birth. That book's from the 1950s, now we're in 2020. And this is coming hard and fast into our classrooms. People say, oh, they won't teach them that, they won't teach them that. Well, they are teaching them that. They are. I kept getting asked all the time, how are they going to teach the children about masturbation? How are they going to do it? Well, this is how they do it. This came from 241 schools in England, okay? This is called the All About Me package, and it sounds lovely. This is a United Nations lesson resource, all right? I have seen recently someone saying on Facebook, my school's not doing that. They're doing All About Me. Yes, All About Me sounds good. All About Me is a great package. But then you get little bits like this, guys. Let me just explain this to you. These are the rules about self-stimulation. Now, lots of people like to tickle or stroke themselves as it might feel nice. They might play with their hair, stroke their skin, or they may even touch their private parts. This is really very normal. However, some people may get cross or say that is very dirty, especially when you touch your own privates. This is strange and it's really very normal. However, it is not polite to do it when other people are about. It is something we should do only when we're alone, perhaps in the bath, shower or bed, a bit like picking your nose. It is certainly not polite to do it in the class when everyone is watching. Some people think that's sexual, some people think that's okay, because some children do put their hands in their trousers, yeah? We got 4 types of children in this class of 4-year-olds learning about self-stimulation. We got children who put their hands in their trousers just because they do. We got children who never do it. We got children who's doing it because they've been neglected and it's soothing. Then we've got the children who are being abused, okay? This has just told all the children in the class that they can touch themselves. Not only has it done that, it has programmed every single child in that class away from what we call a non-verbal disclosure. A non-verbal disclosure is where we look in children's behaviour, the ones who cannot communicate very well. We look out in ways they act, things they've copied, and we investigate. Now we have lost an entire generation of children to that one piece of lessons, that one lesson content, in 241 schools in England. But our teachers are safeguarders. They DBS checked, they're safeguard and trained. So why can't they spot that then? I'll tell you why. Sexual safeguarding is a whole new game. It's completely different. There are lots of different layers to this. To sexual safeguarding, to sex abuse, the types of abuse, the explanations of abuse. It is a complex specialist field. And we'd expect somebody with a geography degree to spot things like this. So we can't blame the teachers, because the teachers don't really know. In fact, like I said, when I read that World Health Organization document, I was like, but it has to be right. It has to be right. It has to be, you know, it's the World Health Organization. But it's only when you investigate that you find the problems. And these lessons have been rolling out all across the UK. We haven't had them as strong as this in Wales, okay? Our fight was always a preventative fight. We were fighting to prevent this from coming. What we have in Wales is something really, really radical and something very, very dangerous. We've had legislation which mandates this sex education from age 3 to 16 with no parental opt-out. Comprehensive sexuality education. May I have some help, guys? Get some help here. Rach, where are you? So what we've seen since they've signed these documents in 2017, all 4 UK governments signed up to the same education in 2017. We're all at different stages with it, aren't we? What have we seen? We've seen some stuff in England. I just read that to you from England now. This is Scotland, okay? This is supposed to be age appropriate. What do we have here? We have anal sex, anal sex, anal sex, the dice game, the trans toolkit, anal sex, facial ejaculation, mature porn, oral sex. This is in Scotland. This is the curriculum. But that's Scotland's not Wales, is it? Nothing to do with Wales. Professor Donaldson wrote their curriculum. Professor Donaldson wrote our curriculum. Kirsty Williams has referenced Scotland. We've all signed the same documentation. We are all having the same education. They say this education is to protect from access to porn. Access to porn? Well, they censored me on Facebook. And they're telling me you've got to have this education to protect your kids from porn. If they can censor me, they can censor the pornography. If they were to protect from porn, Rich, why are they telling children to research the different types? Hardcore porn. What's that? Hardcore porn. What's that? Swallowing, bondage, facial ejaculation. And to top it off, they got 6-year-olds writing gay love letters. What do we have here? There's no kids here, is there? I can't even...
Yeah, there's a little boy up there. Yeah, you do.
Okay, right. So this is from Scottish Government, okay? This is a Scottish Government Health and Wellbeing Survey. We're having one here as well. Just a quick few questions. When you first had sex, what do you personally say? You wanted it to happen sooner? You wanted it to happen at the time? You would rather have had it later? You did not ask yourself that? You prefer not to say? How old were you when you had sex for the first time? 13 years or younger? Start as your rape age. 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old? Don't know, prefer not to say. Have you had vaginal or anal penetrative sex more than once? Yes or no? Prefer not to say. The most recent time you had penetrative vaginal sex, did you or the other person use anything to prevent pregnancy? Yes, no, don't know, prefer not to say.
They started at age 9, didn't they?
Yeah. So this started at age 9. The parents have no choice in it. They are rolling this out whether we like it or not, okay? It's coming hard and fast. What have we got here? You can all have a look at these. So children as young as 6 learn about sexual stimulation in sex ed classes. Health school at centre of hardcore porn homework. Be safe with sex toys. If you haven't got no sex toys, you can use the vegetables. This is in your children's class. Mum food, yes, that as their education pack that normalises paedophilia. Parents in Wales won't be able to take their kids out of sex education and religion no more. And here we are, the UN sex abuse scandal. Great, isn't it? This is what we're dealing with, okay? This is what we are dealing with. And we are told this is about inclusion. We are told this safeguards. I am sick to death of people saying this safeguards. Correct terminology, safeguards. It does not. All right? Why would you give a password to your child's genitalia to the entire public? You wouldn't do it, okay? They say, oh, you need to have the correct terminology. No, that's a lie. Correct terminology, you're demonstrating the child can communicate with you about their genitalia. That's how predators work. They talk about genitalia, okay? A child needs to be scared of adult genitalia. They have to. Do you know why? It actually safeguards them. When you talk to a child about their genitalia and they're talking freely to you about it, that is seen in a perpetrator's world as consent. But when a child sees an adult-sized penis, big, ugly, hairy, the child will go, that is victim resistance. That is enough to stop your child being abused. So what have we got? We know about victim resistance. We know children are scared of adult genitalia. We know that. It protects them. So what do? We introduce dildos into the class, don't we? Adult-sized dildos for the 12-year-olds to put condoms on. It's not acceptable. It does not safeguard. This education, the deadline for this education is September for the 3-year-olds. As you've all started experiencing, it's the deadline in September, not the starting line. So those 3-year-olds are already coming home saying, I know what's in Grandpa's pants. I know what so-and-so got and it's long and I don't like it. These are children, little children. This is not safeguarding. You do not have to tell a child about a vulva, testicles and a scrotum to safeguard them. Privates are private. End of story. By the time a child is in school, they can usually look after themselves. They can usually clean themselves in the toilet. They need little adult intervention at that point, okay? A child needs to know only they touch. We do not teach them anything else. A big thing being pushed in the classroom right now is consent. Like I've said to you guys, you need to understand, right, this through the eyes of a perpetrator. Perpetrators think children can consent, okay? So why are we teaching children negotiation skills in a classroom? We teach them an empowering no. An empowering no, end of story. That's as far as safeguarding goes in the classroom, all right? Now we're also being told that this education is inclusive, right? And it's inclusive and it's about same-sex relationships and meaningful relationships. And we keep getting told that children need to know about this because most children got 2 mums and 2 dads. No, they haven't. No, they haven't, all right? 4% of the population is LGBT, 4%. I don't know if you lot are aware of this, but same-sex couples can't have children. So the chances of them being parents are very, very slim. It's either through a stepchild, IVF, adoption, or whatever. So the fact that most children got same-sex parents and they need this education, again, is a load of codswallop, okay? If you want to teach your children about different relationships, one lesson, draw your family. They draw their family. At the end of that, they sit on the carpet, they say, let's talk about your family. End of session, end of discussion, job done. We do not need this in every single lesson across the curriculum. What we are dealing with now is like something we have never ever seen before. This is not a single lesson. This is in every single subject across our curriculum. We are drowning in it. The children are drowning in it. And this is supposed to be for them. Who asked them? Do they want it? No one. Who asked us, do we want it? No one. Who was responsible for all of this? Well, we know who's responsible for it all, but for us in Wales, it's them lot in there. Do you know, we started this campaign in July 2020 and it took our Education Minister, Kirsty Williams, 18 months to reply to us. 18 months to address us herself. We petitioned them. They changed the links on our petition. They removed the links for your child's sexual and reproductive rights. They replaced it with a link to a pro-abortion website. I obviously went mental. They left our petition continue with half the information. It was a complete mockery. Then they changed the rules of the petition. You're supposed to have 5,000 signatures for debate. They changed it to 10,000, but they didn't tell us till 4 days before they were doing it. We made the 5,000 though. They didn't think we would, but we did. We made the 5,000 signatures. We got our place on our petitions committee. We were ready for that debate. We submitted 17 pieces of evidence. Not one piece of evidence was mentioned. They said on live Senedd TV, which you can all watch now, we don't know what's misinformation and what's not. We'll check it. Then they said, right, we'll put a watch and brief on this. Contact the petitioner and tell them we put a watch and brief on it, okay? So I emailed them a few days later, no reply. I emailed them after the vote, still no reply. Then they emailed us to say case closed. But do you know what they really did? Do you know what they did the night the petition committee sat? Which we only found out about a week ago. They told us they were putting a watch and brief on it. They told you they were putting a watch and brief on it, live on TV. But do you know what they did? They issued the document that night saying this was a campaign of misinformation and they were to launch a campaign against us as a matter of urgency. That's what they did behind our backs. They didn't have the guts to say that on Senedd TV. They didn't have the guts to say that in an email. They did that behind our backs, and we only found out about that a week ago. That document is online. That document has gone to our legal team. So we have tried our hardest to prevent this, guys. We really, really have. Honestly, the emails we've written, we've been called rotten, but we don't care. Because you know why? Sticks and stones will break our bones. Names are not going to hurt us, are they? We are here for our children. And this is what our government didn't bank on. Our government almost had this education in without a question. They've promised everyone this world-class education, but it's written by Welsh practitioners for the children of Wales. There's 5,000 civil servants working on it, according to Kirsty Williams. But an FOI told us different. An FOI told us it was the Welsh Government, and the Welsh Government alone. No researchers were involved in it. But even that was a lie, wasn't it? All it's been is lie after lie after lie after lie. Lie to me, fair enough. Lie about me, fair enough. Lie to me about my kids, and heads are going to roll. Because that is one line we do not cross. We do not lie to us about our children. The truth is this. These people in there would never, ever, ever, not in a month of Sundays, come knock on our door and say, this is what we're introducing for your children. But they're happy to do it behind closed doors. They're happy to do it behind a screen. They're a bunch of cowards. Cowards and scumbags. Because only a scumbag challenges the kids. Only a scumbag targets children. And that's what they're doing right here. Only a groomer removes a parent from a child's life. Only a groomer. You listen to what I'm saying? Only a groomer removes a parent from their child's life. It's the first step of getting to them. That's what they've done in legislation. So what happens in September now then, when your children are in these lessons? You're going to remove them?
Yes.
How can you? You don't know when it's coming, you don't know what subject it's in, you don't know. If you remove your children from this, you're a criminal. They're going to criminalise you because you're breaching your child's right to an education. They're criminalising you over their attendance. Now they're going to criminalise you to teach them about sex. Alfred Kinsey's version of sex? Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But you know what? Every single blow, every single deviant, disgusting, sly move that they've done, we are taking it all into court. They didn't bank on this, did they? They did not bank on us going the distance. I remember emailing Susie Davis and I said, Susie, we've got 400 parents, you mind? You're going to need more than 400 parents. Well, Susie, you wasn't banking on us getting to the courts, was you? And neither was Lynn Eagle. What did Lynn Eagle say to Dennis? Dennis said about him going to court. So what Lynn Eagle said? We'll win that hands down. 2 days later, we had our JR granted. Yes! They weren't banking on that, were they? But this is it, guys. We haven't had a fair playing field. It is not going to be a fair playing field. They are making it difficult for us. They are not giving us the media exposure we deserve. We've got further than everyone in the UK on this fight. What we have achieved is absolutely incredible. We should be on the front of every single newspaper in the UK, and we're not. We are struggling to raise the money. It's going to cost £100,000, right, to get this through the courts. The court fees aren't as extortionate as the government's fees and the legal team's fees. But what we're dealing with here, guys, is a government who are willing to fight us all the way. They are not willing to negotiate. That's sinister. That is very sinister. They've got a bottomless purse. It's our purse. They're using our money to go to court against us, and we've got to raise more money. So the money's ours. Every single penny's ours. This education is going to cost between 300 and 600 million pounds. We need our money ploughed into our communities. We do not need it ploughed into the Kinsey ideology. So guys, we've had a little, obviously the government know we're on to them, right? So they've published these documents now, the RSE code and the RSE guidance, to try and make us look like liars. But it's not as simple as that, is it? Because if they publish this documentation to make us look like liars, then obviously the teachers haven't got what they need to deliver this agenda. Yeah?
They don't want to.
So, what's happened there? If you look at the documents, they do look lovely, guys. They do look lovely. But between the two documents, the RSE guidance and the RSE code, we're looking at 14,000 words. Man, woman, boy, girl, male, female. Those 6 words feature a total of 0 times. 0 times. Heterosexuality is not mentioned at all. Marriage is mentioned once. Disability is mentioned once. The word gender is mentioned a total of 60 times. When you click on the word gender and you look at the meaning, the definition covers gender identity, which is not a protected characteristic. It is not. But it's in our document a total of 60 times. 60 times. Now, people aren't really all that concerned about this whole gender stuff, you know. I think it's because they don't understand it, they don't know it, they don't want to be called homophobe, they don't want to be called bigot. Who cares what you're called, right? Who cares? This is an agenda. It is baseless. It's actually, again, it's based on child abuse anyway. Look at David Reimer, John Money. What we've got here, they are attacking our children's young, impressionable minds. How do we know that? Well, because we've got a school in Brighton that's got 186 kids that don't know what gender they are for a start. Back in July 2020, transgender intervention for 4-year-olds in Scotland had increased by 80%. That was when this education had been rolling out just for 2 years. Fast forward to now, 4 years that education's been there. Transgender treatment for under 16s has increased by 1,500%. It's a joke. Let me give you some stats about that, shall I? So, we got people who think they're trans or whatever, right? Whatever. 80 to 90% of them will change their minds by adulthood, all right? We've got the services and teachers saying, oh, we got to support these kids through this because they are going to kill themselves. Yes, they are going to kill themselves. If you let them go down this process, 40% of those are going to regret it and kill themselves. So yes, you're right, there will be suicide by pushing this education. This is where we're going, guys. Bottom line is this, right? Nothing in life is free. When it's free, you are the byproduct. This education, our children are the byproduct. Unless you totally understand perpetrators of abuse, their policies, the way they think, right, you're not going to question this. You're not, okay? That's fair enough, all right? But I'm here. I'm qualified for this. They are not. I am you. I am one of you. I'm a person from the street. I have got absolutely nothing to gain from this. But I've got a lot to lose. Because I'm a single parent. My family will be targeted. My family will be watched. But you know what? I don't care. I am not scared. I am more scared of this than what I am of what can happen to me. So if you think this safeguards, test it. Bring it to me. Challenge me. I'm here. Challenge me day after day, night after night. I'm here telling you the truth. I'm talking about a really complex field that I am qualified to talk about. I can go through these lesson content and show you what's safe and what's not safe. And I'm here to be challenged. And I'm also going to write the training for the teachers as well. Because this is important. This is not what they are selling it as. I keep saying it. This is not Ron Seal. It's not doing what it says on the tin, okay? It's really not. But guys, what we need to do now is we need to fight. We need to fight harder than we have ever fought before. Because this is an attack on the entire United Kingdom. We are all in the same storm. We just got a different boat, that's all. Us in Wales, we don't sail boats, we're on a raft. We're on a raft because the water cannot get in our raft. The water cannot drag our raft down. And our raft can get washed ashore 50, 60 times and it can still get back out there. Because that's what the Welsh are about. We are raft, we are ready, and we are ready to take charge of our children. This education is supposed to be rights-based. Rights. Empowering children beyond capacity. Everybody wants rights. But with rights come responsibility. Who's taking responsibility for these children? Us. It is us. We are standing up and we are taking responsibility because the people in here cannot be trusted. They have failed time and time again. And I am sick to death of seeing damaged adults, people sleeping in doorways. We've got people addicted to drugs. Why? Because we failed them as children. This is serious. This is bad, yes. But you know what? This is also a golden opportunity. This is a golden opportunity to change things forever. Because things have been happening under our noses. Things have been going on in schools that we wasn't aware of. And this sex education has been about since the 1990s, but it's getting worse. We started off the 16-year-olds putting condoms onto cucumbers. A few years later, we had the 14-year-olds putting condoms onto bananas. Now we got 12-year-olds putting condoms on adult-sized dildos. It ends, and it ends with us. This is a generation that's going to change things, guys. This has to be an opportunity. Is this going to be a problem, or are we going to be the problem? We are going to be the problem for them. I spoke about we haven't had much media coverage. I don't think I can tell you the truth about that, why we not? We haven't had much media coverage for the simple fact is they cannot demonise us, okay? We're a mixed group. We got LGBT, we got LGBT children, we're religious, non-religious. We are a coalition and a mixed group and they cannot demonise us. That's why we have not had the media coverage. But if they could demonise us, we would get the media coverage, just like our friends over here. Come over. Because these are our allies from Birmingham. And these guys you might have seen on TV a couple of years ago, they tried to fight against this education. Were they on their own? No. They were with Christians, they were with Jews, but you know who was demonized? Just the Muslims. It's wrong. They were called homophobe because they have had their religious beliefs breached and eroded by this education. Like I've mentioned, our documents mention the word gender 60 times. It mentions disability once. Gender is not a protective characteristic, but disability and religion is. And although I am not religious, I will stand here and fight and defend everyone's right to believe and preach and practice whichever way they wish. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to pass you over to these wonderful gentlemen here because they are here with us. They've been with us every step of the way since day one. They've been demonised by the media, and you know what? They are the nicest guys I've ever met. I absolutely love them. So big round of applause for the guys.
Thank you very much, Kim. You know, as soon as you said that you didn't get enough publicity because they couldn't demonize you, I immediately felt like coming up and saying, look, we'll come and stand with you. They can demonize us. And you're absolutely right. They did demonize us, and it backfired because it highlighted our whole campaign. If they didn't demonize us, our campaign wouldn't have been highlighted. We were hurt by the demonizing because, you know, throughout the campaign, I never even mentioned anything about religion. It's an ideological clash. It's a liberal sexual ideology that's clashing with traditional, traditional family beliefs. And just as I was speaking to Rachel earlier, this ideological clash means that it changes the relationship between a mother and a father. It changes the relationship. I was going to say husband and wife, but you see, we have many couples who do not live in a married as married couples, and so it changes. It makes that relationship even more liberal, their ideology, and then also if that relationship is affected, then the relationship between the parents and the children is also affected. And it completely that completely changes the family unit, and we'll find that our coming grandchildren and their children will suffer the most, and if you're alive in their time, you'll find the society is very different to as you knew it in this time and in the time before. So it's a very serious thing. I don't consider it my religious belief that you should have the traditional conservative family valued and promoted in schools and in our culture and in our society. It is actually it's something basic to society. It will deteriorate society. We will become less compassionate as individuals. As the family unit becomes more, individuals in the family unit become more independent, and they'll start caring less for each other. But the traditional family unit is a very strong and powerful unit in society, and this unit, Kim was mentioning Kinsley and those who have come before Kinsley. Their ideology is this, that they want to break down the traditional family. And that's it. It doesn't matter about religion. Religion, of course, promotes the traditional family unit. And I think there are many people in Britain who value the traditional family, and they actually don't know what is going on, and what Kim was showing you on these laminated papers. In fact, during our campaign in Birmingham, Warwick County Council had about 300 primary schools where they had approved a program called All About Me. Now, when we realized this and we found out what All About Me was in it, we highlighted it. When we highlighted it, one of our lead protesters was interviewed together with Peter Tatchell. And Peter Tatchell used phrases like pleasurable touching, whereas Shkeel, who's our lead, one of our lead protesters, used the word masturbation. And he told the truth about actually what these phrases meant and what they referred to. And Peter Tatchell got so angry with the truth being told. In the interview, he told Shkeel to shut up. The truth, those who deceive people, the truth hurts them. And I think this is what you're doing. You're telling the truth, and the truth does hurt. And you will, I think Kim and her friends are really very brave. You will get victimized. You will have the full force of government against you. But I think you got to stand up for what you believe is right and what you believe is true, and you got to stand up against lies and deception and what is not true. It's for the sake of your children and for the whole of society and for Britain, really, because there are many people in Britain simply are not aware of what is going on. And that's very clear from the tactics they've used here in Wales against Kim and Rachel's campaign. But you know, we in Birmingham are with you, and we hope that you stay the course. And persist and fight for what you believe is true. That is what we did, despite all the victimization that we received. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and thank you very much to Kim and the whole gang for inviting us. You guys are a true inspiration. You really work hard, and yeah, after hearing Kim's speech here, I just feel speechless. I don't know what to say. You guys are doing really well. Just, you know, keep going. Yeah, I like to say a single bee is ignored, but when thousands and millions come together, the bravest run in fear. And one thing they fear is the day we come together. Now, we all need to come together. I mean, the truth is, nobody really cares about, everybody could say this, but no one cares about our children more than us. And we give birth to them and everything, we spend the sleepless nights in raising them, and then, you know, comes along this RSE, and our children, there's a law, every parent has a legal right to protect their children, to educate their children in conformity to their religious and philosophical convictions, and that's a European Convention on Human Rights, 1948. Now that's a law, that is, but yet, are we protected against that law? No. Every parent today is concerned about the children, especially everybody here, and there's parents in Birmingham, the Muslim parents, but we've got laws to protect us, but yet those laws don't mean anything, and this whole universe, it works on consent. Now remember this, everybody here, the whole universe, it works as a universal energy, and it works on consent. Everything works on consent. Now, unless we give consent for our children to be sexualized and brainwashed, it's not going to happen. So we need to really stand together, arms in arms. Doesn't matter what background we come from, what color we are, what race, what religion, we need to stand together. We need to support Kim, Adele, Rachel, Lucia, and everybody I've missed out. We need to come together and we need to support them. So thank you very much.
Hello everybody. I haven't got much to say, but I've been with these guys in Birmingham right from the beginning. My children are grown up. I mean, I look young, but I'm not that young. So I've gone past that stage. But I still think it's really important, because children are children, and as adults, it's our responsibility. If we don't stand up for them today, how will we feel tomorrow? So I think, it's really nice to see everybody here. We need to keep the efforts up, keep trying, and hopefully, we should overcome this. Okay.
I wanted to mention something Kim spoke about earlier on, and I don't want to sort of intervene and disturb it, but in regards to, was it Brighton? Yes, Brighton. It's got the largest LGBT community, and it's also got the highest suicidal rate. So when these people say to us that this education is safe and it's about equality and diversity, you really need to look into the numbers. The numbers don't lie. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that.
Sorry guys, as you know, we started this campaign in COVID during lockdown, and obviously for us, our personal beliefs have to be put aside. We've had to try and win over all sides of the fence, you know. So that's why our argument always stays strictly RSE. That's why I had to stop Sarah. There's no offence, if we was going to go down that route, we'd have Kath up here, you know. Right? But yeah, so there are issues going on in this world and stuff that we have our own personal beliefs on. But for this, we have to keep it RSE, because our main issue here, guys, is reaching out to everyone, okay? We need to try and somehow win people over, and that's why we've got such a mixed group of people as well, because I know, like Sarah, I was like Sarah when I first started this, shouting and swearing, and I couldn't do lives or anything like that. But I also know as well that people need to see all the different types of personalities, because not everyone's going to relate to me, not everyone's going to relate to Rachel, not everyone's going to relate to Adele. This is what it's about, you know. We can't please everyone, but we have to kind of try and sit on the fence for the sake of the kids, you know. So guys, I'm going to start to wrap it up now. Gary, you want to say a few words, yeah? Before I pass you over to Gary, I'm just going to finish up now on this whole RSE thing, guys. Like I said, we're going to court, okay? We are going to court. There is a little bit of a problem with that, though. There is a little bit of a problem with that. They have offered us dates between September and November, which obviously that's a little bit too late, okay? So the fact those dates have been offered after the deadline for this education, obviously we are concerned. So there's two things we can do. Our legal team will write to the courts and explain the situation, and we also have to ask the government if they would be prepared to bring it forward as well. So that's one thing we can do. The second thing we do is we write to the government and we ask them to postpone it, and if they say no, then we move on to the third thing. The third thing is going to be an injunction on this education, but what that means for us, guys, is a separate court case. It doesn't all run into one, it's a separate court case. So we need to be of the mindset now, we need to be preparing for a second court case, when the truth is we can barely afford the first. But we need to be mindful of this, guys. It is a fight, it's a massive fight, but that's what we are going to do. What you can do, okay, this isn't a whole thing now, you just stand there, wait for us to fight our fight. No, you fight your fight as well, alright? Because the truth is this, yes, they have legislated to remove our parental opt-out, but you know what? They haven't actually done it. Right? They haven't actually done it. They messed up, okay? They messed up. The Curriculum and Assessment Act 2022 does say you've lost your parental opt-out. It does say that, yeah? But with legislation, there is always legislation before, so it's called primary legislation. The primary legislation of the Education Act 1996 says you've lost your parental opt-out in England. So they haven't actually done it, right? So that's what we're going into court to fight. We're fighting the fact that they think they've done it, but they haven't done it. But the documents are telling us they've done it. So, what does that mean for you? Well, this Section 9 of the 1996 Act, okay, it's never been used as an action before, it's a principle. But what this Section 9 actually does, for the first time in this whole campaign, it places responsibility onto an individual. And in this case, it's the head teacher. So what we're getting written up now, we're getting written up a notice. You don't have to learn all this or understand this. It's being written up for you properly, okay? So the Section 9 of the Education Act is going to be written up, put into a notice for you guys to give to your schools. What does that mean? So what that means then, guys, in practicality, right, is essentially what should happen is the head teacher should crap his pants, or her pants, go to the Board of Governors, they will realise they're out of their depth, and it will go to the local authority legal team, alright? For us, that ties the teachers' hands together, okay, so they can't go any further. The legal teams are swamped in with this legal issue because it's a piece of legislation, and it's up to them and the local authorities to fight out while we fight in the courts. So we will have that ready for you. It will be on the website, but it's a Section 9 of the 1996 Education Act. While they were busy tying us up, they tied themselves up as well. So, well done, government. So we'll have that published on the website for you as soon as possible. www.publicchildprotectionwales.org. Get subscribed to that, guys, because they do censor us a lot on social media. But that will be out there for you. That section 9 should be ready for you. It would have been ready now, but we've had so much toing and froing going on with the court dates and things like that. It is, you know, it's a lot of work. What we're actually dealing with here, guys, is we've got the government in there. They are actually using 5 solicitors, okay? They've got the 5 solicitors and the barristers. We have got no solicitors, okay? No solicitors, 2 barristers. They are high-profile barristers, yes, they really are. But a lot of this work is being done at ground level, you know? So they've got a bottomless purse. They've got 5 silver-tongued solicitors, God knows how many silver-tongued barristers. We're going in there with our rucksacks and our 2 barristers, scuffs on our shoes. But you know what? We're going to absolutely smash it. We are going to destroy them. Because when you get in a court, see guys, the truth is this. When you stood in the dock, right? You know that legal guy there asking you questions? He doesn't know the answers. He just knows about law. And you know what? We know about RSE, CSE, the gender theory, the Equality Act. We know how to apply the 4 principles to the curriculum and it doesn't even work anyway. So do you know what? Let's get 100 grand and get me in our court because I am ready for it. We are all ready for it. I'm going to pass you over to Gary now, guys, but that's it for me. Thank you all for coming. Lots of new faces. Get these leaflets out. Don't bother printing them. It's going to cost you too much, all right? It only costs us a couple of £100 for hundreds of thousands. Let's get them out there. Contact us. We can post them to you. We can send you the link to order them yourselves. Let's get this information out there. Keep going, keep going. If you're talking to somebody and you think they don't want to know or you're not getting anywhere, do you know what? You simply move on. Because the longer you spend on that person, you become someone you're not. You become a time waster. We are not time wasters. We haven't got time to waste, all right? So don't worry about them. On their head, so be it. And with a little bit of luck, right, this is what I really want. With a little bit of luck, we will smash this thing out of the schools, and the parents who thought we were wrong will forever still think that we were wrong anyway, yeah? Yeah? Because it's not about being right. It's not about being proven right. It's about doing right. And that's what we're here for. We're here to do right. We're not here for popularity. We're here to get this shitstorm out of there. So guys, I'm just going to finish up now. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a country to keep them safe. But it's going to take a kingdom to destroy this Kinsey ideology. And that kingdom is the United Kingdom. All right, guys? The war is in Wales. Everyone come to Wales. Thank you all so much. Gary?
Well, thank you all, everyone. I'm not going to talk about much. First of all, I just say thank you all to everyone who did come, and thank God we've got people like Kimberly and Lucia who set up this event and are fighting real hard. And back in October, I came aware of what was going on. That was October 2020. There was a rally against the COVID-19. I'm not going to talk about that, but then Kimberly spoke out about RSE, and I just couldn't believe it. I was absolutely shocked. I said, you can't be serious. I know they have some seriously warped ideas, but this is just going beyond. Now, I'm not a father, right, but I do have nieces and nephews, and they're all going to be starting this education they want to roll out. Some of them are into their teenage years, some of them are coming into 10, 11, and some of them are now 3, 5, and 6. So they're all going to be exposed to this, and for me as an uncle, or even just a concerned person of this country, I cannot allow that to happen. Now, there's 2 things I want to talk about, because I can see a real problem coming in the future about all this, right? It's not just the warping of what's going to happen to children's minds when they're exposed to all this from age 3. It's what's going to happen to them when they start getting more into their adult years and their minds have been warped by all this. They're going to be thinking that freely sexually exploiting yourself to others is a normal thing. Now, I've been watching some of these YouTube videos. There are child protection groups all around the UK, right? And they set up these social sites. They monitor people's activity, and all they do is set up a decoy system for themselves. They pretend to be like 11, 12, 13, just pretending to be like a normal teenager to see if anyone's out there trying to groom children to meet them for sexual acts. In other words, they want to rape them. And some of them actually do get away with it, but some of them who do get caught, my God, you should see the disgusting chats they send these kids. They're not just talking, do you want to come here and do this and do that? They actually, well, it goes beyond the most dirtiest pornographic things you can think of. That's what they want to do to children as young as 9, 10, 11 and up to the age of 15. Now, if we're teaching children in school that this is going to be a normal thing, can you imagine how the groomers out there, the sexual predators and pedophiles, they must be drooling at the mouth over this, because they realize, right, if it's okay for them, it's okay for the sexual education in school, it must be okay for them. Now, I can see a real problem coming down the line here, right? It's going to be a lot of suicides from these young children. As I've already heard from our Birmingham friends over there, the LGBT community, the youngsters, they're committing suicide in record numbers because they can't process it, they don't understand it. And then when something physical happens to them, it ruins them for life. It hasn't happened to me, but I know people who have been groomed by their, not parents, their uncles and other members of their family from a young age, and then they get to an older age and they become alcoholics, they turn to drugs. They self-harm to amazing lengths, and they're never over it. They're never over it. They have trouble forming relationships. They have trouble holding down a job. They have trouble just living day by day, and some of them just can't cope with it, and I've seen some people actually top themselves. So what are we going to do about this when this happens in, say, 10, 15 years, when the 3-year-olds and the 5-year-olds and the 10-year-olds, the parents now who should be really involved in this, you need to think about when your children are 18 or in adult years, when they're messed up and they're acting like that, you're going to have to ask yourself what the hell happened there. That's going to come back on you, and when they're all messed up and they're not prepared, it's not right. And it's not that I'm against all the LGBT, that's got nothing to do with it. It's the sexualization and allowing predators to groom our kids. And if you look at some of the people who I've seen some of the lists that they pull out, you know, the people who have been arrested and the people who have been charged, they're teachers, they're politicians, they're policemen, they're counsellors, they're people who actually work in that disgusting building over there. And they're telling us this is perfectly fine. Why is that? Because that's what turns them on. Now, I can't figure out how we're going to get through this, but I know one thing, let's raise this money, let's get it into court, and let's support Kimberly and her group and the Birmingham lot and everyone else, and let's smash it out of there and get it out of this country, okay? So I'll just say thank you very much. I'm glad to be a part of this. What I do is I film the events and I come and I try to raise promotional awareness of the things that they want to do. So that spreads awareness, and I'd like to think it's having some impact, but I'm going to keep going with it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and Gary, he is massive support to this organisation. So before we finish up, I'm going to give a shout out, because there's a lot of people working on this that you don't see. It was supposed to be me, actually. I was always supposed to be behind the scenes and never out the front. But obviously, you've got to be careful what you're saying, especially when you're talking about predators and sex abuse and things like that. You've got to be careful that you don't accuse people of things and stuff. There's a Rehabilitation Offenders Act and all that crap to go through. So that's the only reason why I had to kind of stand up, give up swearing and learn to do this thing, But I want to give a massive shout out to the people that nobody sees. We've got people working all night. We've got a lady I've never even met before myself, and she's totally revamped our website. Everything is grassroots, guys. We are literally playing to our strengths, right? You might think, she knows a lot of stuff but ask me something about geography and I haven't got a clue, okay? I really haven't. I thought Caerphilly was next to Cwmbran. I thought Torquay was abroad, I was wondering why the old women were catching the bus abroad. It was mad. But I'm no good at geography, I'm no good at certain things, and the same as us all, okay? We are all here to play to our strengths, and that's what it's about. It's grassroots, guys, and I'd like it all if you could really give a round of applause to the people that nobody sees, the ones that's working behind the scenes. We got claimants as well going into court anonymously. That's a massive thing, and I just want them all to understand and know how much we appreciate them all, because there's people doing stuff, guys. we just have absolutely no idea of. I've got a few craft things down there I'm going to show you in a minute, because we're doing a craft raffle as well. That's not ready yet though. But like I said, people are playing to their strengths. We've had one lady make us a Welsh dragon out of copper wire and crystals, you know. This is what it's about, guys. You don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to know everything. You've just got to be there. You've just got to do what you can. I've done a PowerPoint presentation. It's really simple. It is online. You can watch it, or you can take the PowerPoint yourselves and deliver it to your people. I am happy to do one-to-one training sessions with you to show you how to deliver it. This is what it's about now. We don't want people to know everything, okay? The most honest thing you can say is, I don't know. I can find out for you, all right? Because that's a lot more honest than what these people in here are saying, yeah? This is grassroots. We are normal, everyday people, all right? And that's what this is about. The normal, everyday people are going to win this. No one at the top has ever changed anything at the top. But the people at the bottom, we have 100% success. And that 100% success has to continue, guys, okay? I want to thank you all for coming. We're here every month. We're in Llandudno next week. So it's the third Saturday we're in Cardiff. The fourth Saturday we're in Llandudno. We've got an event in Neon in Newport on the 30th of June, 6:30. There will be tickets for that. The event is free. We've got over 400 seats to fill. The bar will be open. It'll be a really good presentation on the screen. It's going to be a live feed as well. I'm not sure where it's live feeded to, but that's going on. We've got lots of sponsored events, guys. The 26th of June, there is a healing event in Brynchethin Community Centre. Get online and look at that. Look on www.publicchildprotectionwales.org. And there's also a huge event happening from the 31st of July. Adele is organising a nationwide sponsored event. She's taking the country across Wales, all right? So that's walking, cycling, hiking, horses. We've got everyone involved in that. If you want to do 3 miles to contribute towards that, contact Adele. If you want to skip it, if you want to dance it, whatever you want to do, this is your opportunity to get involved in a nationwide fundraiser. It starts on the 31st of July. It finishes on the 6th of August. There's just events coming out of our ears. Guys, please do what you can, okay? We need to raise £100,000, but that is only 16 pence per child, all right? £1 is 6 children. If you've got no money, go and buy yourself a jar of coffee, sell the cup as 50 pence to your friends, make your money back. Like I said, 16 pence per child, all right? We do not want hundreds, we do not want thousands. We are not after big amounts like that from you guys. Literally 16 pence per child in Wales, that's all it costs. So if you're thinking in terms like that, if you've got a tenner, work out how many kids per there. It sounds a lot more positive than thinking £100,000, all right? £100,000 is the target, but little small steps, we will get there, guys, all right? So thank you all for coming. If there's anything you need from us, right, if you want hoodies made, you need leaflets and that, my car boot is full. Let's get it done. Let's get it out there. Let's overturn this, guys, right? The children of the world need us. This is in 52 countries. Once it comes in, it never goes out. You start with the lesson contents and you end up with this legislation. But we've started with the legislation. The reason we've started with the legislation is because they knew that if we experienced this with our children, heads would have rolled, all right? So let's make heads roll, yeah? Let's get our 100 grand, let's get these 5 claimants in that court, because let me tell you something now, that is going to be one hell of a show. They're going to need expert on expert on expert on expert just to challenge one claimant. Let's show this government what we're made of. Let's give them a run for our money. It's not their money, is it? Let's give them a run for our money and let's hold them accountable. Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate this. Let's do it for the kids.